Hi guys, George Palayo. I have a question. Do you have charisma? So everybody wants to be an interesting person. We want to have all this success and stories and experiences, and we want people, human beings want others to be interested in them. So we'll meet somebody and we'll try to impress that person by sharing stories, success, things that we've done. And sometimes you could dominate that conversation and inadvertently come off as a person that's arrogant, lack of interest, really not that charismatic, self-absorbed. And so I came into the insurance and investment industry and I was very shy. I'm an introvert by nature, and I have to now go to business meetings, see clients, networking events, conferences, and meet all these new people. And I had my little circle of people that I felt comfortable with. Couple buddies, family, that's my circle, I feel comfortable. Sometimes that comfort zone comes with a cost. And so now that I'm building a business, I have to go build all these new relationships, and I want to make a good impression. I want to be charismatic. And so I'm asking myself, man, what do I say? What do I do? How do I act? How do I carry myself? And the best piece of advice that I ever got about being charismatic was stop trying to be interesting and be interested. See, you will tell when a person asks you a question if they really genuinely want to get to know you by if they follow up that question with another question about your response. So, hey, tell me about, why'd you go to that school? Okay, great. So let's talk about this. Oh, they really didn't care. Hey, tell me how you guys met. Wow, that's awesome. Okay, so let me tell you what I have today. You could tell that person genuinely is not interested in getting to know you. That's the number one rule that I believe is the most important in establishing a new relationship, where that person walks away saying, wow, man, George was such an amazing person to talk to. Man, Shane left such a great impression. Man, Dan is a very unique individual. And so we want to be that person. So how can we be that person? Ask more questions. Follow up with questions after you ask a question. So, hey, how'd you guys get married? Get out of here. How'd you guys meet? Wow. And why were you at that school? What were you studying? And why did you choose that profession? Did you always know you wanted to do that? When you are genuinely interested in a person, you'll go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 layers deep. Now, if you're running a business, you're not going to go multiple levels deep into it, but I think 2, 3, 4 layers, and if you're genuinely interested about that question, why are you asking it? Are you wanting to assess who that person is? Are you wanting to establish a relationship? Are you wanting to find common rapport? What's the reason that you're asking that question? I always love to learn, so I ask questions for myself so that I can learn more about life, but also understand who this person is. So why do you want to ask those questions? Let me give you a few bullet points. Number one, you want to be able to network better. When you understand, hey, that person worked at that company, that person went to that school, that person has this job experience, that person owns this company, now you know more about how you can connect people to each other. One of the concepts that we'll get more into is adding more than what you're asking for, okay? Giving more than what you're getting. Over providing value to that person through adding value to their business, connecting them with other people, making proper introductions. That's huge. You want to be looked at as somebody that's a connector, so being able to network better. Here's another reason. You want to understand them more. If you ask several questions, that person's telling you who they are, how they think, why they do the things that they do. That's going to allow you to navigate that conversation better. Here's another one. Lead them better. If this is a person that you're going to be working with and helping and assisting and managing and driving, then you're going to want to know, how does this person make decisions? Why do they think this way? What's their subconscious blueprint? What's their conscious blueprint? What's their past experiences? How do they view success? How do they view money? How do they view hard work? How do they view their goals and dreams? You need to know who this person is before you can lead them. Next one, you can empathize with them more. If you don't know what a person's been through, it's hard to really connect with them. Maybe they've had a financial setback. Maybe they've had a relationship setback. Maybe they went through a loss of a loved one in their life. Maybe they achieved massive amounts of success and that's where they want to get back to because they don't feel like they're winning right now. Maybe they haven't had something to look forward to for a very long time and they're kind of lost and they're looking for direction. So once you get to know a person's past, you know how to meet them where they are and lead them to where they need to go. Another point is retention. Right? If you're going to do something big in life, you're going to need people to do it with, and people need to know that you care about them genuinely in order for them to want to invest more into you and what you're doing. Now, don't use this as a technique. Be authentic. People can tell when you're trying to build a relationship because you want to get something from them, and people can tell when you're trying to build a relationship because you want to go somewhere with them. One of the things about being charismatic, and we talked about it earlier in the video, is that you want to understand this law of reaping and sowing. right? That you reap what you sow. See, a lot of people want to reap something they've never sowed. They want a return on an investment they've never made. So when you're getting to know somebody and you're asking, what are your goals and who are you and what do you want? And you take a position of, man, I want to add value to you and I want to help you accomplish that. This was something I didn't understand because it's a long-term game. And when you get sometimes in a business or sales, you're thinking short-term, or if you're an employee and now you're trying to build a business, you're thinking short-term. You need a result now, you need income now, you need a sale now. But you have to play this game with a long-term mentality. Otherwise, you're going to fail in the short term and then in the long term look back and say, wow, how much further could I have gone if I would have valued relationships sooner and then built a system for enhancing and developing those relationships. So how can I add value to you? How can I connect you with somebody? How can I make an introduction where this could bring business to you? Hey, you own a restaurant. This person's a restaurant wholesaler, right, where they sell goods to restaurants. Let me make an introduction. Hey, you're running conferences. Let me introduce you to my planner. Hey, you're looking for somebody that can help you with audio visual. Let me connect you with my guy. Hey, you need somebody to help you with merchant services. Let me make an introduction with my merchant service partner. Hey, you need somebody that's a good CPA. Let me connect you with my CPA. Hey, you know what? Bookkeeping is really important. Let me connect you with my bookkeeper. Hey, my insurance agent's awesome. I don't know if you have this. Let me connect you with my insurance agent. Hey, my realtor is amazing. Let me connect you with him. Hey, my loan officer is amazing. They helped me get a house. Let me connect you with them. So what's going to happen is when you are the person that's just giving and planting seeds and connecting people, because you were genuinely interested, because you got to know them, because you know what their goals are, all of a sudden those people are going to pour back into your life. And you'll be surprised. Hey, George, I got somebody I want you to meet. Hey, George, I want to invite you to this party. Hey, George, I want to invite you to this networking event that we got going. Hey, George, I want to take this trip. George, I got game tickets. I want you to come to the game. All of a sudden, life's going to give to you because you've given to so many people. One of the benefits of asking genuine questions when you're talking to somebody too is that you get to learn so much. That person has a whole life history, experience. And if you have a big ego, you don't think that you can learn anything or you think you know everything. When you're a humble person, you're going to want to understand, man, what mistakes have you made in life and what did that teach you? What advice do you have? I constantly ask people that are ahead of me, what can I do better? Hey, if you were in my position, what would you do? Hey, as a new father and a husband, what advice do you have for a new father and a husband? Hey, as a young CEO, a young business owner, what advice would you give to me? Hey, as somebody that's trying to build a portfolio and build wealth and insulate my family and kind of, what advice can you give to me? How did you do that for your family? Hey, you've been extremely successful in your career. What success tips can you give to me? Hey, at this point in life, what would you tell me running a business, being a father, being a husband? Can you give me any advice? Because you've obviously done very well in your life. You have a great business. You have a great family, parenting, all that stuff's in place. What advice can you give me? Now, be very careful because you got to ask people that also have the life that you want to have because they can give you the wrong advice. Maybe somebody has a great family life, but they have a horrible financial life. Maybe they have a great financial life, but they have a horrible family life. I'm looking to learn from people that have been successful in an area that I want to improve in. Now, when you get to know people, you may get into some areas that it's sensitive. Maybe that person shares they've been divorced or something and just, hey, you know what, I was divorced, or hey, I lost somebody. And it's uncomfortable in that moment. You sometimes don't know what to say, so you change the subject. That could be looked at as you're insensitive, you don't care, you're not interested. So a better way of handling that moment is to ask a better question. So instead of, hey, why did you get divorced, right? Hey, what relationship mistakes do you think most people make that now that you've been through life that you would share with somebody else not to repeat or not to make? So there's a way to ask that question. You may not know how to ask that initially, so it may take time for you to process that. But those are also great things, great muscles to develop, is how to ask better questions that are authentic, that honestly don't highlight the mistake, but highlight what that person's learned and their journey. And it allows that person to open up. When people start telling you, who they are and how they feel and what's going on in their life, there's a level of trust. There's a level of vulnerability there. There's a level of authenticity there. Most people don't ask those kinds of questions because they don't care enough to get to know those people. So again, I'm a big relationship person. Although I'm an introvert, I'm naturally curious in who people are. And so those are the reasons that I ask a lot of the questions that I do. I want to understand how this person thinks, why they do the things they do, and those questions allow me to process that. One thing about conversing with people is don't judge. Right? When you're building relationships with people and you're asking people questions, you may get an answer that you disagree with. Seek first to understand before to be understood, and don't pass judgment on people. Maybe you're going to completely disagree with that point. You don't need to prove them wrong. You don't need to disagree with them. It's understand them first, and then, hey, wow, that's interesting. Here are my thoughts on the topic, right? Because you need to know how to transfer a conversation and how to also add to that conversation and share what your thoughts are without being offensive. Share stories. One of the best things that you could do is tell people stories and make people laugh. People want to get to know who you are. Tell funny stories. Tell stories that are, embarrassing. Tell stories that make you human. Tell stories that, are also relevant. Okay, you don't want to just tell a random story. Hey, you know what? What you just said reminded me of something, right? And then connect with the person. Share who you are. You also have to be vulnerable. You also have to be authentic. If you want them to really connect with you, to like you, to be interested in you, right? You have to be somebody that they can understand who that person really is. And guys, lastly, when you're connecting with people and building relationships, don't exaggerate, right? Be authentic, be honest, be truthful, but don't exaggerate. Sometimes people feel like they need to embellish a story or make it bigger than it is. There's no difference between an exaggeration and a lie. And so why are we talking about, how to connect and how to communicate with the concept of charisma? Because again, how we started the video is how I want to end it. If you want to be charismatic, it's not about being interesting, it's about being interested. Take care, guys.